Hello. This is Dr. Srinivasappa G, Department of English, Government First Grade College, Sira, affiliated to Tumakuru University, Karnataka. This is my 10th video session. And in this session, I want to introduce a new English poet to you. You are going to study in the second sem of English syllabus, Restoration and Pre-Romantic Period. And in poetry, I have been focusing mainly on romantic and pre-romantic poets so far. That is William Blake and Thomas Gray, Robert Burns, that we have discussed so far. And today in the class, I am going to share my knowledge about Thomas Gray. Thomas Gray is popularly known as poet of Elegy in the 18th century English literature. And he is an English poet. Firstly, I want to say that. And he is a scholar and a professor at Pembroke College, Cambridge. He worked as a professor. He was a scholar. He was a poet. He was a self-critic. And though he wrote many poems of his times, he is popularly known as the poet of Elegy. Elegy is one of the poetic forms like sonnet, lyrics, ode, ballad, epic, and so on. Elegy is one of the poetic forms in English literature. Why elegy is a form is taken for granted writing poetry is, let us see that what is elegy now. Elegy, it is a dirge, I say that. It is a funeral song. A song which is written for the memory of the person who we have lost on the death of a close relative or a close person, friend of any kind. One can write a song on the funeral ceremony of a person who is dead. At the outset, we know that elegy, it is a funeral song. And the entire, the whole poem, in any elegy, we see that there is a pathetic tone, a melancholic tone, suffering and disappointedness. All these things we generally notice or come across in the elegy. It is a pathetic song, a funeral song, a disappointed song for losing a person who is very close to us. In his memory, a writer is going to sing a song like Elegy. And when we see the word, or when we look at the word Elegy, we immediately remember one of the important classical writer or the poet, an epic poet, that is John Milton. John Milton, the first English poet who wrote epics in English, that is Paradise Lost and the Paradise Begin. And the poet Milton also wrote an elegy. It is a pastoral elegy. It was written on the death of Edward King, where we could see the features of elegy. And the Lycidas is an elegy, the pastoral elegy written by John Milton that you have studied in the Patsi. And you are quite familiar with the features of elegy because we have already studied elegy of Milton, that is the pastoral elegy that is listed as in the last syllable. I need not say more on this. Let us come to that is elegy that is written in a country church is the present poem that you are going to study now. Before that, I am going to speak something on Thomas Gray. I am going to introduce Thomas Gray for you now. And Thomas Gray is entirely different the poet when you compare to the Milton. Milton Lycidas is a different forms and nature and features than the Thomas Gray is written in the country church. Here in the present elegy, Thomas Gray is speaking on or focusing on the melancholy of not a particular person, but the rural people in the graveyard. That is a melancholy in general, not a particular. Though it is particular, but is generalizing that. That is it is common to everyone. And the graveyard, he has created a wonderful atmosphere of graveyard and where people and suffer and those things that we see when we study the whole poem in detail. Right, Thomas Gray, we know that. Let us say something on Thomas Gray now. He is widely known for his elegy written in country church. It was published in 1751, and he is the most popular poet of elegy. Though he wrote some of the the poems like the Bard and the Word and a distant that is the prospect of Eton College, and so elegy is the most important. And when we speak of Thomas Gray, we never keep away from elegy. We never think of Thomas Gray without elegy as such a popular poem that he has written in English poetry. And Thomas Gray, and he also was the founder of Gray School of Poetry, and he contributed a lot even to the Romantic School of Poetry too in the 18th century. And in his poetry, we see a kind of that is figures of speech that he has used to, widely has used to. That is a personification, alliteration, and there is a wit and cleverness in his poetry. And those are the important features that we come across in his poetry as well. And here we see that Thomas Gray was the second most important poet of 18th century. Samuel Johnson, his contemporary, a poet and a critic, he forward his views that Gray spoke in two languages. He spoke and he wrote in two languages. One is public, another is private. Public language and public language is the two languages that Gray was using. That was identified and that is admired by Samuel Johnson. Of them, private used to write the present poem Elegy in the country church. Gray became popular and significant poet when he wrote this poem, and he also considered as a it is a love poem, though it is a pathetic poem as such. I told you it is a very rare nature of elegy that was written and introduced in the poetry. That is by Thomas Gray. And Wordsworth, he remarks on Gray. There were many critics, they have their remarks, opinions, and views and criticism they have written on Thomas Gray of 18th century. Thomas Gray was a transitional poet. He was a poet between John Milton and Wordsworth. And let us see what Wordsworth speak on him. The critics like Wordsworth and Matthew Arnold. Matthew Arnold was a poet of the Victorian critic poet, and he says, remarked that the age was wrong for poetry of high seriousness, and that Gray was blighted by his age. He could never speak at all. He could speak less and write more. Such judgments sum up the major critical history of Gray's reception and reputation. He has always attracted attentive critics precisely because of the extraordinary continuing importance of Elegy, which measured against his both performance seemed indisputably superior. And Elegy, it is, as I told you, usually it is written for the memory of the person whom we have lost as a funeral song. And the present Elegy written country church, it is particularly wrote on Richard West first, as Milton wrote to King Edward. Let us see that it was partly inspired by Gray's thoughts following the death of the poet Richard West first in 1742. Originally, the title stanza wrote in a country churchyard. The poem was completed when the Gray was living near St. Giles Parish Church at Stoke Porges. It was sent to his friend Horace Walpole, who popularized the poem among the London literary circle. See that it was the great that is risk and as taken by Horace Walpole, and he actually popularized the poem that was written by Thomas Gray Hahn, that is Richard West first. Gray was eventually forced to publish the work on 15th February 1751 to preempt a magazine publisher from printing an unlicensed copy of the poem. This is how many critics they have given their own opinions, so that we could see that. And he was a classical writer of the age. That was Matthew Arnold, I put it in words when he was criticizing there. He belonged to the classical writers of the age. Such a wonderful the features he has in his poetry. And he has taken the universal theme in his elegy and in his poetry as well. Therefore, he could become so popular. Uh, that is the poet of the age. And there are many more things that we have to see on that is uh, Thomas Gray as an English poet. This is a brief that is a note uh, and the background and the history of Thomas Gray as an English poet. Thank you for listening and understanding one of the new poet that is Thomas Gray wrote Elegy in Church. And in the next session, we are going to see that is the poem that is a Elegy written in teacher chart. Thank you for listening. The first session of the Elegy, that is introduction to the poet Thomas Gray. Thank you very much.